So let's continue our 2025-26 OHL season preview series. We're going through all 20 teams, and today we're going to talk about the Erie Otters. The Otters are a team that they were my pick last season to maybe represent the Western Conference. Obviously, the London Knights and the Windsor Spitfires, they all had different plans, but this is an Erie Otters team that it was a tough road for them. Look at the situation with Jim Waters, him passing away, the owner of the Otters, then Stan Butler being let go for something that was said off the ice. So it's and then of course Matthew Schaefer. How can we forget? Breaks his collarbone representing Team Canada at the World Juniors. He missed the start of the season due to mono, so you didn't even get a full season with the first overall pick by the New York Islanders last season. So yeah, it was a tough road for Erie, and we'll see how they can recover going into 2025-26. When you look back, 2022-23, they missed the playoffs. They had a record of 21-42-5, 49 points. And then the following year, they took that next step. They made the postseason with a record of 33-28-5-2, 73 points. And it was a fun matchup in the first round against the Kitchener Rangers. They forced the Rangers to 6 games, but that's as far as Erie would get. But remember, that was their first appearance in the playoffs since they won the OHL championship in 2017. That was a huge step for this organization. And then last year, like I said, they were my pick to represent the West, and they struggled at times. Although Noah Erliden, fantastic goaltender, cannot wait to see what he can do for an encore this year. He did everything he could to try and get this team to go deep into the playoffs. They ended up with a record of 34-28-4-2, 74 points. They had a first-round meeting with the Saginaw Spirit, and they were able to upset them in 5 games, but they ran out of steam in the second round when they were swept by the London Knights. Looking at their stats last season, they were averaging 3.64 goals per game, which is not too bad, but their goals against, 3.83 goals against per game, so you're not going to win too many games when you give up more goals than 4. Their power play, middle of the pack, 12th at 21%, while their penalty kill, 14th at 77.1%. So if this is a team that's going to take another big step here, specialty teams and goals against will be an area to focus on for this team for sure. Their top 5 scores last year, Pano Fimis led the way. 32 goals, 54 assists, 86 points. He was a machine with this team. Always never took a shift off. He was quite the force for the Erie Otters, especially when they were dealing with some key injuries. Sam Alfano, second in scoring last season, 41 goals, 43 assists for 84 points. Malcolm Spence, 32 goals, 41 assists for 73 points. It's going to be tough not seeing Spence with the Erie Otters next season. And then you have Martin Misiak. He was 4th in scoring, 23 goals, 36 assists for 59 points. And then Dylan Edwards, 20 goals, 36 assists for 56 points. Goaltending, Noah Erliden, like I said, he was fantastic. 28, 18, 4, and 2 is his record, 895 save percentage. I expect him to maybe be like a Carter George type, where if the team is struggling in front of him, he'll keep them in the games. That's something that you want to see from your goaltender, and I think Erliden is capable of doing that. Charlie Burns was the backup last year. 6-10 was his record. 860 save percentage, as I'm sure for the Otters, they'd like to see an improvement there on those numbers. Now, during the offseason, when it comes to trades, they were kind of quiet. They just did a trade the other day with the Sioux Greyhounds, acquiring Jesse Ventura from the Sioux Greyhounds. He hasn't played in the OHL as of yet, been playing with the St. Michael's Buzzers of the OJHL, so we'll see if he does sign a contract with the Otters. I kind of suspect he will. And then the only drop is Malcolm Spence, who's committed to join Michigan, which is kind of too bad after being a first-round selection at the NHL draft. It would have been nice to see what he could have done with the Erie Otters going into next season, especially if Matthew Schaefer comes back, because he signed that contract with the New York Islanders. So it's NHL or OHL. I figure Schaefer is going to get a long look with the New York Islanders, but with the amount of time he missed due to injury last year, maybe they look to send him back to junior so he can have that year, get comfortable, play for Team Canada against the World Juniors, and kind of get a full season under his belt. That's kind of what I'm wondering if the Islanders will do, but time will tell, because maybe at the NHL level, he'll excel. So we'll have to wait and see, because if Schaefer comes back, that would be a huge addition for the Erie Otters for next season. Now, they were busy on the signings front. They signed 12th overall pick Jake Murray. They also added second-rounder Tyler Cooper, and at the early scrimmages at training camp, he's been putting in tons of goals. It's been kind of fun to watch the social media just what Cooper has been able to do with the Erie Otters. They've also signed fourth round selection AJ Gladman, import Alex Mishiak, so Martin Mishiak's younger brother. So it's nice to see the name continue with the Otters. And then Ritter Combs, he played in the USHL last year. He is signed with the Erie Otters. And then Luke Plant, he was a first round pick of the USHL, 14th overall. He has signed a commitment with the Erie Otters. So it's fascinating how Erie able to sign these or the NCAA bound players and bring them in. And it's going to be curious to see if this pays off, because they may have found a strategy here that may benefit the Otters going forward. So time will tell. I would like to see Erie have a strong season, but judging by their draft cupboard, maybe this is a year where you retool a little bit. In 2026, they have their own second, Niagara's third, and then 2 picks in the fourth round. 2027, they have 2 picks in the third round, which means nothing in the second. They have their own fifth and Owen Sound sixth. And in 2028, they don't pick until the fourth round. That's Brampton's pick. They have a fifth and then 2 in the sixth. So the draft cupboard, a little light here for the Erie Otters. So that's why I'm wondering if maybe this year could be a bit of a retool and look to the future for a potential run at the Erie Insurance Arena, because I do like their core. I like the young players on this team. You look at a player like Challenger going into his second season. It'll be great to see what he can do. And like I said, I really like Noah Erliden, one of my favorite goaltenders in the Ontario Hockey League. Cannot wait to see what he can do. But with that all said, I'm wondering if they're still going to make the playoffs, but maybe near the bottom of the Western Conference standings, because the Western Conference is going to be a battle. Last year, it was in the East where we saw the top 7 teams really battling it out. I think in the West, that's what we're going to see here. So somewhere between 7th and 10th, but I figure they're probably going to be either the 7th or the 8th seed in the West. When looking at the channel vote, it's kind of similar on my prediction here. They have 11% support to finish top 3. 4th through 6th, 56%, and then 7th through 10th, 33%. So that's where I'm like, I think they could push for 4th to 6th, but I'm wondering if they finish maybe like 7th. So they're kind of on the cusp of being one of the middle of the pack teams, but we'll have to wait and see. So that's how I see it for the Erie Otters. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on this team going into next season. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon.